Hello, welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and today I'm going to talk about two questions that popped into my feed yesterday, which was revolving around the same thing, which is how do you imagine your wish fulfilled if you can't necessarily imagine in high definition all the time, and if you can't imagine or your imagination doesn't really let you imagine these grandiose ideas. So I had a cute little example that I'm gonna express here. It's very simple, but if you pay attention to it, you'll see what I mean. Imagine two glasses, both filled with the same looking liquid. The one on the left, you know, is vinegar because you have created it that way in your knowing, and the one on your right is water. You know that it's water. You don't have to vividly see the difference in them. You don't have to imagine some grandiose idea. You don't have to imagine anything specific to know that the one is water and the other is vinegar. Where's the imagining happening? Where's the actual knowing, right? You're knowing. You know what that is. That's imagining, that part. The images, the sound, the tactileness, the smell, sometimes I can't smell anything in my imagination most of the time. Right? Honestly, I've never been able to smell something. I've never really. But that's just the story itself, right? That's the story I'm telling. That doesn't matter. I'm sure there's a version of me that can, because all the versions exist, right? It just hasn't been very interesting to me. That being said, you're knowing that this right-hand side cup is water. You're knowing that the left-hand side cup is vinegar. Is literally the imagining of it. You are calling it forth as a story. You are calling it forth as a story right now, right? And you are calling it forth knowing it's that story. You're knowing. What Neville was getting at, in my opinion, is that when you imagine something vividly over and over again and you feel it more and more, you feel the naturalness of just being that version of yourself. When you just naturally in his I am in Barbados example, holding the railing, right? Walking on the deck stairs, feeling the wind in his hair, water on his face, feeling the boat ebb and flow, bob up and down basically, right? All of that was to just ease the physical experience as he's experiencing, right? Once he felt himself into that state, now I am pointed in this direction. I am who I say I am, right? That's accepting himself as this identity who is pointed in that direction. He's also talking to people in that day and age who were experiencing reality in that way, in his reality in any case, right? But here's the thing. He also said, once you understand and have decided and have accepted your own end, the only technique you really need is inner talking. Now, if inner talking is the only technique you've ever needed and all things are created now, that means the version of you that was inner talking about your desired end, as your desired end, pointed in the direction of your desired end, knowing that that is what I have accepted as my desired end, you never really needed to imagine as vividly as you think you might have needed to be in your desired end. It's only the acceptance that was the point, right? So whatever he was imagining, it was just for him to naturally accept that he is that version. And the more naturally you accept yourself as that version of yourself, the more inclined you are to actually just be the version of you that accepted it. But that version of you that accepted it, who is inner talking in that way, must exist right now. And if that version of you exists right now, you can skip the middleman and make anything the middleman other than your end. I am the version of myself in that desired end, whether or not I imagine it vividly or not. I am pointed in the direction I am knowing myself to be. That's imagining. Why is it not imagining? Because if inner talking exists now and all things exist now, it must be imagining, right? The knowing of an idea is the imagining of an idea. And you are the knowing behind it. You are source, you are God. You can do it any way you like. You're not here to do it Neville's way. You are here to be the way. That's just Neville's way. Neville's way was part of the way he was and part of the way of when and where he was. You are not Neville. You are you. You are just as wonderful as Neville, whomever you are. Right? So all experiences, sights, sounds, sensations, thoughts, etc. occur in the imagination. Imagination is not separate. It's not a different mental playground that has a mind of its own. You are the knowing of it. You are the awareness of it. So your inner talking is more than just words. Your inner talking is the repeated intentional calling forth of your chosen reality into your awareness. The words are effect of that calling, not the cause. Saying I am is the verbal shadow of a deeper act, knowing yourself as that version of you now. Calling forth is knowing in the present. There's only the present. There's only now. We say present just to distinguish between yesterday and tomorrow. Each time you inner talk, you are placing yourself in the state where that version of you already exists. You are not building the reality from scratch. It's already done. You are tuning into it, experiencing it now. This knowing is the physical and immediate, not abstract or future based. It's already here. Here's the thing. You take for granted anything. When I told you to imagine the cup, did you imagine every molecule making the cup and every drop of water? No. You just cup, water, done. Everything's there already. You are knowing an idea. You are knowing an idea so perfectly, you don't even know how perfectly you know it. Imagine anything. Imagine anything. And look how detailed it actually is opposed to how detailed you want it to be. Look at how detailed you imagined it now. Look at how detailed you actually imagined it. Not comparing it to how vivid you want it to be. Say, wow, look how much detail there is actually, even in a chair. You're looking at a chair from the top, you know it has a bottom that's already there. Isn't that fascinating? Because your knowing is the thing. Your knowing calls it already forth, full. You can't know something halfway. You can't know a halfway idea. You know the idea fully. When you want to speak a sentence, when you're speaking a sentence to somebody, when you are saying a sentence to somebody, when you're talking to somebody, most of the time, if not always, you are knowing the entirety of the sentence and you're just saying it out, feeling it and experiencing it as you are going. Especially a long sentence. When you're saying a long thing, you just had a thought about it and you said the entirety of it. You never really say, okay, to imagine I need to imagine movie, I need to imagine was, I need to imagine the movie, fun, I need to imagine, but, it's something, you aren't imagining each word and then saying it. You're imagining an idea of a sentence and saying the whole thing. Inner talking, right? Whether you do it constantly or occasionally, inner talking tends to point to what you are consciously being right now. So identify with being the creator. Make your inner talking. I am the creator. This idea is who I am, and I am moving forth as that identity. Everything's rearranging around me. I am who I say I am. The more your words match your chosen self, the more you are just aligned with it. Because you are perfectly aligned with it now. So go all in right now. I am who I say I am. You're not just talking about reality, you're talking as reality. Right? The reality exists the moment you know it. Because it already did. The words are just ripples. The knowing is the stone dropped into the water, creating the ripples of what you are experiencing. Right? Very poetic at the end, but basically when you know something, it's your reality. And I like poetry as much as anybody. Actually, that's probably not true. I love poetry. But yes, everything in your imagination, you are knowing. Knowing is creating of it. Imagining is basic. The imagery is an effect, right? Feeling as reality is who you are not naturally, and your inner talking is the compass that is pointing you to that version of you that you have imagined or you have known. Basically, your knowing of now, your knowing of then creates the knowing walking of a bridge of you. The knowing of you now, the knowing of you then is creating the knowing of you walking this bridge to know yourself as that. That's it. So, hope that cleared up quite a bit on those two questions. Thank you for them. Much love, much light. I love expanding those questions. Even the same question, when we have a predetermined answer for that question from someone asking it beforehand, what I do enjoy is that when you ask it again, you are talking from a baseline, casting your net again. Jesus' scripture, cast your net again. And you stumble across something new. It's quite nice. I love it. Basically, when you always starting from a new you, right? Again, experiencing from you're always experiencing yourself from a new you, right? But that new you contains the awareness of everything that you were. So even the knowing of inner talking, when you are expressing it again, you are talking it again, anew, with anew. So it's always good to answer the same question again and again and again and again, because there's always more to it, and more and more and more. It's never just anything. The only thing you can't really expand on verbally is I am, but you can know more of it. So that being said, much love, much light, and thank you for the questions again. I forgot the ending. Oh yes, this is actually reality with this. Thank you all for being here. Much love, much light. Thank you for the following, liking, subscribing, comments, obviously. Facebook group available, Read at Your Reality. You can join there and drop questions. You can post answers. You can ask for advice, or you want to post some thoughts you have on reality creation. Please, by all means. That being said, if you want to get a hold of me, email is in the description box below, and there's a TikTok page also available where you can experience other forms of this content. That being said, much love, much light, and I will see you in the next one.